Welcome to RPG Book Club LongCast Volume 2? I don't know.
Volume 2, Reminisce.
Yeah, LongCast, .long / cast in all caps. Volume 2, Reminisce. This was a really weird, odd way to start the season, so buckle up, fellas. I'm Sam Allman.
I'm David Bernard Hauk.
And I'm Maddie Grace Spiffle-Webbin.
Don't I usually go last?
Yeah, that threw me for a loop. But
I was excited.
Yeah. And today we will be beginning our discussion of .hack GU Volume 2 Reminisce for our second season of LongCast. And this game's much better than the first one.
Yeah, so far at least. I'm not confident that it's going to keep that up.
I kind of am not either, because when I was looking up something about the arena, I think I was trying to verify what music track was playing or something. It was like, the arena Volume 1, the arena Volume 2, and the arena Volume 3. So this might just be another martial arts tournament game.
Yay!
So we'll see what happens there. Maybe the flavor text happening around it will be much more exciting than just, I hate this girl for no reason and I'm going to yell at her for 21 hours.
Yep.
Like the first game. But there's not a whole lot of background to go into because we actually didn't get to save until we finished for the week, which is really cool. Unfortunate if you only had 20 minutes to play the other day,
you
like
can
I
save
did.
at a regular save point.
At least at one point in there, you go to do it, and the save point guy doesn't let you save. So I don't know if it was
that must
just
have been
the first
a one-off.
time.
Actually, a character even specifically says you can still save. By the way,
Yeah,
Okay.
I've saved several times inside the world.
I actually did not, but it's true that you could have.
Okay, then it may have been just a one-off thing, and then I
didn't even save it at the end. Actually, it's still sitting there. I'm not going to save this whole game.
Yeah, don't do that. But so we didn't even get to the desktop to be able to talk about background on this game. It just threw us right in. So why not? We'll throw you right in, and we'll listen to some cool ass music. I don't know if we had any new ones this week. I wasn't really paying attention. But we'll listen to some music, and then we'll dive right into the plot. Yeah, so Bernard, what happened last time and what happened right away this time?
So last time Adelie fucking died, and this time Adelie was fucking fine. Anyway. So the game actually opens with a really cool cutscene. We see that tree that Indrance sat under and had the AIDA bubbles floating with him, and then we see a giant underwater crystal wrapped in chains, and someone's in the crystal, and I think it's Indrance. I'm not quite sure, but I think it's Indrance, and it would make sense if it was, because next thing we see is someone looking down into the water, and it's Saku, and Orbo. I think it's Saku, and I'm not 100% on which one is which. I think Saku is the one we don't like.
I believe so.
And Saku says some weird, vague shit about this place being all they have and stuff.
Yeah.
And then a voice gives us a quick recap of Volume 1. And very quick recap, which is possible because not much happened.
It hit literally every single plot point, and it was about a minute-long cutscene.
Yep.
Yeah. Notably, it calls the white empty space where Adelie fucking died, it calls it outer space.
Yeah, it's actually funny how in this game, not only the narrator, but various characters seem to just know things that they didn't know last last game. Like, yeah, that thing's called Outer Space now. I'm the narrator. I know this. But there's other instances of that as well.
So next we see Atali laying down in an empty black space, and she faintly hears Haseo calling her name. She says she needs to get up and wishes she could be more strong like Haseo. And back in Raven's at-home, Pi and Kun watch as Haseo holds the unconscious Atali and just yells at her. And she wakes up. She says Ovan told her, ... and then she started to hear, ... and then, ... A flashback to Atali getting owned by AIDA. Kun calls his avatar Magus to save her. We don't really see exactly what happens. But back in the present, Atali starts to speak again, and she realizes her voice sounds weird. And Kun is like, why hasn't Atali said anything in a while? So they can't hear her. Pai's like, is her mic broken? And Kun is like, well, you should just like log out and log back in, see if that fixes it. And Atali's like, okay. And she tries to log out, but she can't.
Bum, bum, bum.
And then she starts to realize she doesn't know where she is in real life. Her desk isn't there. Her controller and her M2D headset aren't there. She starts freaking the fuck out. She doesn't know what's happening. At this point, the other players start responding to her again, so I guess she's using text chat now.
I looked that up for clarification, and yes, she's using text, but it's still all voice acted because this game is like a metaphorical representation of things, so it's weird.
Yeah, the abstract nature of the game's presentation once again causes things to be weird.
Yeah, they do put like a super heavy filter on her voice, so that she does at least sound different. But it's still weird where like every character walks up and is like, Atali, why can't you speak? And then she says, well, things are broken. And they're like, oh, okay, I can hear you now. And then it just goes on like it's nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
She sounds like she's trying to like be a guest on RPG Book Club, because if we tried to have a guest on RPG Book Club, they would end up sounding like that in the recording channel, and we want to be able to understand them well.
Good joke, Bernard.
Yes. So Pi, Kun, and Haseo all realize they don't know where their real selves are either, and they seem to be seeing the world directly. So they all try and log out, but they can't either.
One thing I think is cool about the world of .hackgu is that like in universe it has such good game flow that like it wasn't immediately obvious, hey, I'm not moving my thumbs anymore, I'm just walking around and swinging a big old sword, because as we learned in the forums, it's illegal to have just straight VR these days because of the events of IMOC. So they have to play with the controller or mouse or keyboard, but the game flow is so good that they just like don't notice for multiple hours that, hey, I can't move my fingers anymore, I'm just a part of the game.
The scene's neat because all of them just like one by one come to the realization like over the course of like 30 seconds. Like they each are like, wait, hold on, wait, what? It's cool.
Yeah, and I think like it's extra believable for this group because a whole bunch of really freaky fucked up shit has been happening, and they're super engaged because stuff that actually matters is happening, not just regular MMO stuff. But so, oh shit, everyone who went to outer space now can't log out. Well, guess what? Yada walks in and says that all players in the world can't log out. And that, of course, AIDA is to blame. So this is happening to everyone in the world.
The world, both capital and lowercase.
Yes. Haseo asks if they're really in the game and says that's impossible. Yata says some Morpheus shit about their senses and what's real. Atali asks about AIDA, and they fill her in. Yata tells everyone to investigate, except Atali, who should stay here and rest, of course. Haseo is assigned to search Makanu. Everyone else leaves Atali all alone. Her character model starts cracking and light is pouring out, and it's freaky. She remembers that she has to contact Sakaki. She stumbles out of the at-home. So we go around Makanu and talk to players. Everyone's freaking out. And eventually we see some grilling a CC Corp admin who clearly doesn't know what's going on either. So, yeah, it's bad.
It's bad.
Yata calls us back to Raven's at-home, but before we can head there, we see Atali walking out. She's accosted by some player asking what's going on, but Sakaki and some Moontree goons show up and chase him off. Sakaki says Kestrel is stirring up panic and orders his goons to go maintain order. Atali explains what happened to her. Sakaki says players have lost sight of their true selves. It's as if their minds have been absorbed into the heart of the world itself. Sakaki asks Atali to help him maintain order. Haseo shows up. He says Moontree can't do anything about what's going on. Sakaki says some shit about the lust for power making fools out of people, and then leaves.
Yeah, Sakaki is continuing the thread he had in the last half of the last game, where he suddenly just starts like saying weird ass villain shit. And you're like, well, I thought you were just like a dude that really cared about the world like an hour ago, but yeah, cool. Just like creepily say cryptic shit all the time. That's fine.
Yeah, he's very sus.
Yeah, especially with the Salvador Ihara last video where the kid in his fucking coma woke up and said Sakaki. I don't trust this motherfucker anymore.
Yeah. And even if he were on the level, he'd be a narc.
Yeah.
Atali is angry at Haseo for antagonizing Sakaki, even though Moontree just wants to help people, she says. She runs back into Raven's at-home. So the members of Raven and Atali meet and go over what they know. Players are panicking and some are getting violent. Pai says they're no different from the Lost Ones now. Yata says that since her epitaph has been stolen, Atali's PC data is starting to degenerate. Since people's minds seem to be residing in their player characters now, her consciousness may be lost.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, she's gonna
you want to keep that.
She's gonna experience very literal ego death.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's in a bad, she ain't doing great.
Yeah. So Yata hypothesizes that they are not in the world, but a false the world, which AIDA created by copying data off of CC Corp servers. Yata says Atali has had the power to distinguish AIDA's sound. He asks if she's been able to hear the sound since the incident, and she's like, well, I guess I would hear weird buzzing stuff, but no, I haven't heard it since then.
Yeah, Yata basically is talking about like, oh, like your epitaph / avatar / Morgana bullshit was that you could hear of AIDA, and that was not established that she was an epitaph user last game at all. And
okay,
so
I was wondering if I just forgot
it was.
that.
I don't remember it being.
I'm
I remember there was like
99% sure it was.
I remember there being like an implication because she told Haseo to stop during the fight with Endrance or whatever, but I don't remember it.
I'm almost certain Yata or Ovan or some asshole with a deep voice at some point said that Atali is an epitaph user.
You're right. I remember that now. Yeah, we didn't get like a big plot twist where she like summons her avatar or anything, but she did. But yeah, there was a scene where one of the deep voiced says portentous things all the time was like, also Atali is an avatar, and you're like, whoa.
Oh, it was probably Gabi.
Probably.
No, I said assholes with deep voices, not precious, beautiful people with deep voices.
I'm so glad Gabi's in this game too.
Yes, I know. When I saw them this playthrough, I was like, hell yeah.
I think I said Gabi aloud.
I did too. I'm Gabi.
Did you also say an emoticon out loud like Gabi does?
No, I haven't figured out how to do that. So, oh goodness, where were we? Oh, so after Adelie says she can't hear AIDA anymore, Pi is like, what the fuck? Did it steal her Morgana factor? And Haseo's like, what the fuck is that? And they're like, it's the specialized data that makes Epitaph users unique. Epitaph users are special characters created by CC Corp for a certain project and have special data not found in normal characters. And basically, Morgana factor and Epitaph are two terms for the same thing. I'm sure a fan of this game could explain that they're not, but they are. And also, it's hilarious that Pi was like, oh my god, what the fuck? They stole her Morgana factor, when like a few minutes ago Yacht was like, they stole her Epitaph. And I was just like, okay.
Yeah. Well, you see, to Pi, they're different things.
we do get new actual lore here about how it works, though, which is the big twist that they're like trying to intentionally make, like mass produce Epitaph users instead of it being a natural part of the world. Like, that's cool, but the rest of it is like, you're just making up more words that mean the same thing as the part we already knew. Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah, they do say that CC Corp wants to mass produce Epitaph users as a defense against AIDA, but they haven't been able to analyze them. And Haseo's like, just get the person who made them. And they don't know who made them, or if it was one person. They're just like, yeah, we don't know shit about Epitaph users.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that they're not just GMs, which it kind of felt like they were last time, where it was like, oh yeah, you won the lottery or whatever, so you get to have GM powers and go bug hunting. It's like, no, these random characters, we don't know why, can eradicate bugs with their characters from within the game. So we need that. So we're just going to keep like throwing shitty code at the servers until we make a bunch more.
Mm-hmm.
Man, it'd be really cool if you could, in real life, fix a program by intentionally programming it worse until it became sentient and fixed itself.
But also, when you were the creators of a video game that took over the world 7 years ago, I don't think you should try to fix your problems by just throwing random code at it and hoping that it works. Especially because the government isn't all online now.
You should probably just stop making video games and like everyone can just go play something. Like, you know what? Like, I get it. You got to have a hustle. Like a company, if your company goes out of business, all these people out of a job, that's pretty sad, right? But like, maybe CC Corp should just like, I don't know, pivot to. Well, I was going to say pivot to infrastructure, but actually that's a much worse idea. Just make chips. Just make chips. Just make snacks. Just make Doritos. Like, if you fuck them up, maybe you get sick. Like, it's oh well. Like,
yeah.
And they would fuck it up, and people would eat the Doritos, and they would get sick, and yet they would keep eating them, because in this world, no matter what happens to you using a product and how terrible the experience is, you do not stop using the product.
Yeah, actually, while I was playing, I was like, oh man, I bet it's going to be interesting when people start leaving the world en masse. And then I was like, wait, that's not going to fucking happen.
They're never, ever going to do that. Never log off. Always double down.
No. They're like, they accidentally made a god in a video game 7 years ago, and that god tried to kill people by locking them in comas forever. So let's just do it again, and let's just keep playing, because got to get that sweet loot.
Man, well, go on.
Imagine living in a world where entertainment is so bad that the world is worth it.
I was going to say, man, these characters are so dumb. Like, I would never log on to a web platform for hours and hours a day, even though it just rots my brain and makes me mad and makes my life worse and makes me unhappy constantly. And I'm fully aware of this, and yet I keep coming back for more every single day. I would never do that.
Follow me on Twitter at Spiffle.
So there is a part here where they all say the name of their epitaph, which is different from the avatar. but the same as the Morgana factor. But they're like, it's like Coon's avatar is Magus, and his avatar is the propagation. And the hilarious thing is that Pie's like, your avatar is Skaith, and your epitaph is the terror of death. And then she's literally like, that's a weird coincidence.
It's probably nothing.
I wonder if that's a translation issue, where like the terror of death is like a single word that like a dude would, like an edgelord like Haseo would call his online character.
Like it's not quite as weird of a coincidence because it's like a maybe a slightly more normal word.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I'm thinking maybe all these things are like have something to do with the world's actual lore. So like, I don't know, they never ask Haseo why he calls himself the Terror of Death. Maybe he's like, because of this thing in the lore, right? In which case it would make sense for there to also be some weird other lore attached to it. But yeah, no, they don't ask. They're not just like, it's like, hey, and then again, I guess we don't know even if he came up with that name. I guess he's just, people just started calling him that when he started they started K-ing PKers. I don't know.
Yeah, so it is definitely two words in Japanese. It is shi no kyofu, which is the fear of death.
Maybe that's like a more common phrase, or maybe it's stupid in Japanese too.
It's probably stupid in Japanese too.
Which I'm not saying the game is bad because of this. Maybe there's deeper reasoning behind it, but I do love it and find it hilarious, especially because Pie is literally like, it's a weird coincidence.
Okay, so I Googled the Japanese kanji for shi no kyofu, and a Forbes Japan article pops up, and it has like people just like chilling on bikes and stuff. So it's probably a lot more common of a phrase for it to just be in Forbes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So it's like Haseo and this important lore thing both happen to be named like let me think of
apprehension or some some shit like that,
or something more dramatic like
Memento Mori.
Yeah, or Ragnarok or something like that. I know that doesn't mean the same thing. I just mean it's like a similarly like it sounds cool but isn't that rare kind of word.
Yeah.
So anyway, even with Coon's propagation ability, they can't restore Atali's Morgana, and actually I think they pronounce it Morgana factor. But
yeah, there's two N's in it, which is yuck.
Morgana factor. I can't say that because I just think of Morgana from Persona 5.
I was about to say the Morgana factor is if your character has that data, it's a special bit of code, and if your character has this data, then basically it's just telling you that you need to go to bed all the time when it gets to be late, and it makes you go to bed. It's like a Nintendo game. It pops up, hey, it's 9 o'clock, you should go to bed and stop playing this fucking video game.
Yeah. I honestly, part of me missed Morgana constantly telling me to go to bed when I played Persona 5 Royal, because he doesn't do that.
I like Morgana constantly telling me to go to bed, and I didn't think it was that annoying. It's like a very minor part of the game. I thought it was
just hilarious.
I thought it was cute, yeah.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot more to do in Persona 5 Royal, so you have to have more time slots.
Gotcha.
And it made, when you got the social link high enough to be able to tell Morgana to fuck off and go and do whatever you want at the end of the game or whatever, it made that better. Like you could go out on more nights with whoever the fuck it was. I think it's Sojiro's late one. I don't know. It's been a long time since I beat that game. Maybe I should play Royal.
It's like
Royal's
it's like
so good.
It's like in what's it called? Rise of the Planet of the Apes, or whichever one is the name of the first one, where like the whole time Morgana's telling you to go to bed, and then finally at the end you go, no.
God, that scene's so good.
It's so good.
Oh, it's so good.
I was like, how are they going to actually make the transition from the ape doesn't talk to the ape talks? But they pulled it off.
Yeah. And like that movie's not even an incredible movie. It's just pretty good, but it's all built up. Like the whole time you're waiting for that third act, and the third act is so good.
It's about as good as a movie starring James Franco can be.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've heard that the other two are fucking phenomenal.
They're incredible.
And I need to watch.
I've seen the second;
fantastic.
It's an absolute masterpiece. I haven't seen the third, but I've heard it's even better.
Yeah, they're phenomenal films. Yeah, it's funny actually because they're so fucking good. And I mean, I like the first one, but a lot of people don't. But you can't really say skip the first one. Actually, there's a lot of good character work happens in the first one, but it's like it's good enough that it's not like, oh, I got to get through the bad movie first. It's like, no, you got to get through a kind of cheesy James Franco movie
with a really good third act.
With a really good third act.
I really liked the first one. It felt like a sci-fi movie from like the aughts, like
yes,
like
I agree.
Kind of like Avatar's sci-fi bits, where it's just like a lot of people just like hanging out and doing a weird sci-fi thing, and it's kind of just like chill about it and doesn't like try to marvel the whole thing. And I really liked that about the first one. I thought it was great, so I'm probably gonna lose my entire bonkers when I watch the other two.
Oh, you are. It's
which I really want to
amazing.
do because that guy is the one making the Batman, and the Batman trailer looks great.
Yeah, it looks really good.
I knew the person making directing the Batman. I knew it was someone who made really cool stuff. I couldn't remember what the cool stuff.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's the ape shit.
Yes. That ape shit is the shit because it's ape shit.
Exactly.
Hell yeah.
Anyway, so Yacha says they need to recruit other users to help them infiltrate AIDA areas and fix this. So he orders Haseo and Pai to negotiate with Moontree since they, have spoken with them before. So
yeah, he's like, since you already have a relationship, he's like, and I wanted to be like, well, the relationship is that Haseo wants to kill them all. I don't think that's necessarily diplomatic to be where they start from, but
the relationship is that all of them we want them to fuck off. They want us to fuck off, but Adelie keeps following us around for no reason. That's the relationship.
That's it. That's the one.
I don't know why, if you have a diplomatic mission that you need to send Pai on, why would you send Haseo to do diplomacy?
Of all goddamn players you could tap to do diplomacy, why would you pick Haseo?
Like, Pai could do it fine on her own.
For real.
Apparently Haseo comes too. So they arrive, they go to that main place on top of Moontree's special area. And if we remember last time, there were the 7 or 8 whatevers of Moontree, and we didn't meet them all. They are all there now, so there are some characters we don't know there, and they don't get introduced, weirdly enough, even though these games love introducing characters. But we just show up. Yeah.
It does like a slow pan over all 7, and I'm like, all right, here we go. Some names I'm going to not remember in a couple hours when we podcast, and it didn't give us any names, even though one of the new ones is like a non-binary, really cool person, and it wasn't played for just like grossness, which was odd because this is a Japanese game.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, they
cool.
Focused on him, and we still didn't learn his name. We probably will because it seems important since they spent time on him. But still no names.
Is it him though?
It feels like a him. It might be a them. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
I don't know if this character exists, so who knows? Oh yeah,
we will see how they identify later.
I should explain the context in which I play this, just so that we're on the same page. I don't know if I told Sam. I wanted to play this game, but I had lent my PS4 to someone, not realizing, oh wait, I'm going to need this for .hack in the near future. So I got it back, but she had deleted .hack to make room for other games, which I told her she could do that. I just should have specified don't delete .hack. So because I had to wait 24 hours for the game to actually download, I went and watched all the cutscenes, and I watched a let's play. I watched a long play, skipping through the gameplay parts to watch the cutscenes, and then after that was over, the game was done downloading. So then I played the game, mashing the button through all the cutscenes, and just did the game parts. So I still got it all, but who knows? Maybe that.
So you actually played the game for like 20 minutes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it took shockingly little time. It's like one dungeon and a bit of running around, right? But anyway, the point is, since it could be that part I like actually didn't see when I was watching the cutscenes, and then I didn't see it in gameplay either because I skipped it. So maybe I just didn't. Maybe I'm not just being a forgetful dumbass. Maybe I literally didn't see that part.
I don't know what Sam's talking about either.
Oh, okay.
It is the like last like button of the scene is of male avatar and female armor that is like chewing out Haseo, and he has a big old gay lisp on. And
that one? You said it wasn't played for laughs, so I assumed you weren't talking about that one.
Well, it's not like played for him being non-binary or whatever isn't played for laughs. He had
a
funny.
Very over-the-top gay accent and performance and was talking about getting Sakaki's attention. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I definitely entirely missed this.
I don't remember the bit about Sakaki's attention. I just remember the part about him hating Haseo and he like yells at him and stuff.
Well, and everyone hates Haseo except Adelie.
Yeah. So a questionably good non-binary character. We will see how shitty he probably is as we go forward.
Exactly.
But
so Haseo,
no names. That's the point.
Yes. Haseo and Pai arrive, and we see all these characters, and Zelkova, who is the guild master, is like, hey, guys. And Sakaki's like, hey, members of GU, you'll have to beg if you want our help escaping the AIDA server. And we're like, wait, what?
Pai completely loses her bonkers, and Haseo was just like, some secret.
I like how like at 2 or 3 different points this week, characters are like, yeah, we know about GU, and you're like, what? And it's very upsetting, but I'm like, why does this matter? Why does it matter? It doesn't. They never established why it would be bad if other people knew about GU, so they're like, we know about GU, and I'm like, okay.
Cool.
Glad we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Though having been a GM before, the mere existence of GM Island, which is only there to cover up a bug that happens at login, is you're visible in every phase when you log in. Spoilers. So we log into GM Island so that people don't just see GMs popping up everywhere. That the reason that because that exists, people try day in and day out to get to GM Island. So probably is like, don't tell people about GU just because they'll be fucking annoying and try and mess with us while we're trying to do shit.
That makes sense. Yeah, you don't want people to know. It's just like actually in the DSA right now, there's a bit of a debate about what's it called? Like accountability stuff and like harassment. Whatever you would call that, you know, like if there's some harassment happening, who do you? Having officers, right, who are in charge of handling like grievances. There's the word, grievance officers. There's a big debate where it's like, oh, this is so opaque and like it's corrupt, and that's why like there's a big problem with this. I think this is mostly overblown and not one of those like I don't believe people, just like. I think people can make things really political. But anyway, people are like, no, we need to have like publicly elected grievance officers, because if they're not publicly elected, then like, how do we know that the grievance officers aren't like sheltering rapists, right? But it's like, no, you can't, people can't know who the grievance officers are. That's actually way worse than having them be not elected. Like, you can't have a good process of grievances if people know who's in charge of the grievances, because then you walk around and you're like, that's the guy in charge of someone getting in trouble if someone rapes somebody or not. Anyway, same thing.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, like it'd be like super weird if they weren't anonymous, right? Anyway.
Yeah.
Kind of like how the guy who used to make my life kind of awful at my job person's not there anymore, but was like best buds with the HR lady.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Anyway,
that was great.
So yeah, now that I thought about it for a second, it actually makes total sense that even if there's no like literal plot lore reason why it would be bad if they knew that they were GU, it's still like no, you don't want to know which people are working for the game's devs. That's weird.
And also, knowing about GU goes along with knowing about AIDA. And of course, they don't want people to know about AIDA because maybe then they'd stop playing the world, which they wouldn't.
But no, because they started playing the World Revision 2 after the World 1 had a vengeful god inside of it.
Yeah. So anyway, Sakaki being like, hey, I know everything about you, lol, doesn't really go anywhere. And Zelkova just says that they'll help. And Sakaki says they won't make GU public. And Pi asks them to help find the seams in the AIDA server. Everyone, including the new characters we don't know, heads off to do so. Yata instructs Isao and Pi to meet up with Kun and investigate AIDA signals from Delta Galloping Subtle Desert. When they get there, they're greeted by a party of Kestrel PKers who say they're PKing everyone they can find until they PK the person who's behind this situation. So we kill them.
We kill a lot of them.
Yeah, the area is crawling with jerks.
Yeah.
And Pi is like...
And they become just like normal mobs for the area. When like last game, it was this whole big thing. It was like, oh, when you're in player versus player combat, it has special rules and this, that, and the other. But no, these were just the mobs of this dungeon, and you just fought them like they were mobs.
And kind of smart, like mechanical shift there. It's like, it's like if you're playing another JRPG where like it's like in Final Fantasy X, where for almost the whole game you're fighting monsters, and then all of a sudden you're invading the wedding at Luca and you're just like murdering dudes and it's like really weird and jarring. That's kind of how this was, though not as much because it's fake.
Yeah. Or is it all too real?
Bum bum bum.
Man, it was, you know what, hold on, actually it is funny that they're so chill with killing them, because like we just established that your brain's stuck inside the game, and also like what's her name, Adeli's like brain is deteriorating. Like I feel like you should have a moratorium as the quote unquote good guys, put a moratorium on killing people until you're like really sure that if you die in the game you don't die in real life, because like with everything going on, because do they know that won't happen? Like
because like it hasn't ever like explicitly said what happens when you get PK'd. Like, do you just wake up back at home, or does it like kick you to a game over screen? And in a game where you can't log out, is the game over screen just like screaming into the void, I have no mouth and yet I must scream?
Yeah, so like you think they'd be like, you know what, let's hold off on this one for now, let's yeah.
In their defense, the initial party of PKers attacked them. However, I was doing sneak attacks on the random mobs.
After that point, you can avoid every single battle. I know because I did. Their aggro is very low, which is nice.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting time to mention. Did y'all notice that they made the motorcycle way easier to drive?
Yes, I was wondering if that was just me.
I was wondering if I was just good at it, because I did start like letting go of the accelerator and stuff because I knew it was so hard to drive last time. But I feel it was also just way easier to drive.
The thing is, last time I did use it for like the entire game last time because I'm kind of stubborn, but also it's kind of fun. But like I developed all these techniques of how to do it. Like, have you noticed that if say you want to turn right, instead of putting the joystick at 90 degrees, like directly east, if you put it at like southeast, you'll do like a much harder turn. So I was like making use of all those strats, and actually did get pretty good at it. But this game around, I was just like, oh no, I'm just zipping around now, So anyway, I was using the motorcycle a lot more in dungeons. And something else I found out, this could have been true in the previous game, maybe I just didn't notice it. You don't have to get out of your motorcycle to open chests. If you just crash into a chest, it opens.
Yeah, I did that on accident.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was hitting the slow down button before I got... Because the thing is, most of the time in this game, you do just smash into anything whenever you got to your look on purpose. Like if you're riding your motorcycle to the Chaos Gate room, you just fucking smash into it and then you get off, right? So I did that to the chest.
It's the easiest way to stop.
Yeah, I did that to the chest and it just opened and I was like, oh shit, I'm riding my bike everywhere now.
Yeah. I still wish it didn't count caves as indoors because the cave dungeons are real big, and I would love to just zip around.
We were in a cave this week. I really wanted to ride my bike. I wanted to hop on my bike and go.
And that's like the only real dungeon in this game. Really, it's the only lengthy one in this episode.
Yeah.
And like, and also getting on and off your bike should be faster for sure. Because sometimes you're like weighing.
You should have a dismount button instead of having to come to a complete stop. You should just be able to dismount.
Yeah, because if you only want to go a shorter distance, you're doing the math of like, okay, is it actually faster for me to get on my bike, drive, and then get off, or just fucking run there?
Yeah. Especially because Haseo books it. He is the third fastest main character in a game we've played so far. First fastest being Usagi, second fastest being Kaim, and third being Haseo.
Yes, indeed.
Kaim does book it, doesn't he?
He fucking books it.
He really fucking does.
So Pi idly wonders if there's a connection between the PKers being there and the AIDA signals, and there probably is. Otherwise, she wouldn't have wondered that.
Yep.
That's true.
So we find some AIDA bubbles in the area, and we take them out with Scathe. After, Nala from Moontree, who is like the old-ass dude we saw at Moontree, contacts Haseo to say she's investigating... Oh, Nala's a woman. I thought it was an old-ass dude. It's an old-ass lady. To say... What?
I said, I thought it was an old-ass dude, too.
I don't know. Anyway... The old-ass person says they're investigating this area, too, and asks Haseo to come to the Beast Temple. Wait, now I say Nala, the old guy from Moontree.
Maybe you were just being confused, Bernard.
Or maybe I typoed at some point. I don't know. Anyway, Nala is old. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
So...
The three gingers,
Nala
man, woman, and old.
Yes. I mean, people say women and children first, so clearly age is gender.
That is true.
Yeah, true.
So anyway, Nala, the old person from Moontree, meets us outside the temple and says voices are coming from inside, so we should investigate. And I'm like, why can't you just fucking do it?
They also do like a weird snickery evil laugh where they're just like, I just heard evil voices inside. Tee-hee. And I'm just like, okay.
Cool.
Are you tricking us? Am I unpunked right now?
But
maybe he was just
there.
talking like a Dark Souls character, you know?
Yeah. But we go in there, and we're very happy because we see Gabi, and we're also pissed off because we see Ovan.
Fucking Ovan.
So Haseo's like, what the fuck? And Ovan's like, I was just talking to an old friend. And Gabi's like, we once pledged eternal brotherhood to each other. And Haseo's,
I'm Gabi.
I'm Gabi. And Haseo's like, no, really, what the fuck are you doing here? Ovan says he's searching for a way out of the AIDA server, just like they're doing, as members of GU. So everyone fucking knows about GU. So Haseo asks how Ovan knew about GU. Nala walks in and says they're all working towards the same goal and shouldn't fight, and it doesn't matter. So we just dropped that, I guess.
The entire previous game, everyone was just pretending that they didn't already know about GU, the same way that you, like, pretend you didn't actually already find out about your surprise birthday party and then act surprised. That way your friends don't get sad.
Yeah. And then later you're like, I really thought that my surprise party was going to be tomorrow, but and then like, oh, I knew about it the whole time. And that's what Ovan's doing right now, is telling us he knew about the surprise party.
Exactly.
So what are we going to do with all of this cake and juice?
Yeah. So Ovan says Yata is wasting our time with the investigation because he already knows how we could escape. Ovan says there should be an operation folder somewhere, which is a master file that manages the server. With it, one could transfer character data to a regular server, and Yata fucking knows this. And Pi is like, we didn't have proof or know the dangers, which is why Yata didn't tell us about the folder. And Ovan's like, he didn't tell you because he had no desire to escape. this server is Yata's ideal laboratory to observe AIDA. And Haseo's really pissed off, like even more than usual. And Kun tells him to calm down and says they should go and confirm all this with Yata. So Ovan and Gabi leave, and then we leave too. We head back to Raven's at home, and Haseo's like, why the fuck didn't you tell us about the operation folder? And Yata says he didn't have proof and didn't want to confuse them with an unsubstantiated theory. Which sounds like bullshit, but I don't know. Like, I've led teams before, and sometimes you just don't want to tell people stuff that's not 100% definitely relevant. Otherwise, it'll become a whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Although it is true that Haseo also doesn't buy this for a second.
Oh, yeah.
I really like Haseo here, where he's doing that thing where, like, there's a lot of bullshit going on, but you also don't really, it's like, what else are you going to do? So you just kind of go with it, and you're just like, whatever. It's kind of like the entirety of Death Stranding is basically that. The whole time, like, what's his ass, like Die Hard Man or whatever is like, Sam, you got to rebuild America. We're definitely Bridges is definitely evil and up to something, and Sam's like, fucking sure.
So Yata says they'll now proceed to infiltrate the operation folder and conduct a forced transfer command using I'm sorry, I wrote my notes in a confusing way. So they're going to infiltrate the operation folder and conduct a forced transfer command. And the way they're going to get to the operation folder is using Tri-Edge's signs, which are the marks it left in areas. So these can be used to transport, making them essentially chaos gates, which were made by AIDA.
They're going to hack the sign.
Yeah, exactly. I have that joke later in my notes.
God damn it.
I have that as my memorable moment.
I'm sorry. Aren't I the only one who's actually watched the dot hack sign?
Yeah.
Yes. But
see, so I figured y'all wouldn't think of that joke. God damn it.
It's highlighted in yellow, Madeline.
Okay, you're right.
It is very obvious.
Anyway, Yata says that the sign on the Moriguberu wall connects with the operation folder and orders Haseo, Pai, and Kun to infiltrate it and execute the transfer command. So it's time to go and do important stuff and not get stopped by filler. So we head to Moriguberu wall, and the game tells us we need more data seeds to hack the sign and progress. We have to go to areas and data drain AIDAs to get more data seeds. Oops, filler.
Yep.
So Pai tells us about an area with AIDA signals, and we go there and we fight 2 more AIDAs, and now we have enough data seeds to dot hack sign. And we head back to the Moriguberu wall.
Hey, good joke.
Thank you. So we hack the sign and find ourselves in a Technicolor battlefield, which Pai calls the Connection Hall. Before we can head to the operation folder, an AIDA shows up, and we fight it. After, Haseo gets a data seed, genome data, whatever that is, and something called O-Von01. Surprisingly to me, at least, Haseo immediately makes a connection with Ovan. I was expecting it to be a thing where he would just be like, O-Von01. Okay.
This game is weirdly pretty good about that in general. So what's the previous game? Like, Haseo noticing things that are very obvious instead of not noticing them for 40 hours like most video games?
Yeah. So we get to the operation folder and we see a Pokeball floating in an empty white space.
It is literally a Pokeball. I think we should be clear that we're not like, it's not like it kind of looks like a Pokeball.
It is not colored like a Pokeball. It's all like sort of a stone brown, but it is a Pokeball.
Like it's the circle with the line in the middle, and the circle, and even like the circle part in the middle is like the right size of what it would be if it was a Pokeball.
Yeah.
I was expecting it to open up and something to come out of it.
Yeah. So there's also a small orb orbiting it. So the party approaches it. Pai interfaces with it using like a floaty command terminal thing and executes the transfer command. That was easy. We see all the players all over the world start to disappear, including Pai and Kun. But Haseo finds himself in an empty black space. AIDA bubbles appear in front of him, but an AIDA monster appears in front of him, but he can't move because of AIDA bubbles surrounding him. Then a beam of light appears from above, and a fucking cool-looking person descends.
It's so
they
cool.
have fangs like Tri-Edge did. And a beam of light appears from below, and a fucking freaky-looking person ascends. They look like they were, like, stitched together like a Frankenstein.
Yeah, they're like they're sort of like a muscular, like blocky sort of like tough-looking figure.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Yeah, like their build.
So the two new characters destroy the AIDA monster, and Haseo now sees them standing in the operation folder room. He sees something else beyond them, and realizes it's a coffin. Tri-Edge is in it. Haseo disappears like the other players did. Haseo's voice speaks and appears as white text over a black screen like a damn Nier, and says that everything that happened on the AIDA server only took a few minutes of real time. He wonders who those people with Tri-Edge were. If they attacked AIDA, does that mean Tri-Edge isn't AIDA? ... Question mark? And we are on the desktop. If you assumed the whole AIDA server thing was going to be the whole plot of Volume 2, I guess it's not, because we're already out.
Wait, did I skip?
Yep.
Did I space out and not hear you saying the big cutscene where everyone around the world sees the cool stuff happening and then they log out?
Yes, you spaced out because he definitely said that.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, we are
at the desktop, so we save.
Yeah, and technically Sam said to save right here, although I did go and do some forums looking and shit like that, but I didn't go back into the world.
Yeah. When you get to the desktop, it's like, hey, you have 8 billion unread messages because it's a new game, motherfucker. So
I did not read them
next week. I did not either.
Yeah, it's actually not that bad at all. If you look, it's actually not that. Most of the categories on the forum have like 1 or 2 new threads. It looks like there's a lot because there's a symbol that says, I forget if it says old or like archive or something, but there's a symbol that it uses for the stuff that was already in the previous game. And it looks similar to the new message, and I can't figure out how to make it go away, and it bugs me because they're sitting there flashing at. They're not flashing, but like, you know, there's the little icon, and the little icon, I'm like, no, if you see an icon, you want it to go away, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, actually each forum just has like between like 1 and 4 new threads, so.
Okay. That's not horrible.
No.
I, as always, will probably just read my email.
Yeah, I will probably bathe in the deliciousness that is the forums and tell you guys about it later.
There is a lot of news that I did not click on because it's a lot. I mean, I don't know if it's a lot, but it looked like a lot.
Yeah,
we'll have to check if there's new Salvador Ihara content.
And Versus Crimson is back, baby.
I'm not going to touch that.
I am going to get way too into it.
It's super simple, honestly. You have to build a deck, and if you recall, the card battle happens automatically. So you just make a card deck, and it does a fight every minute while you're playing and racks up wins and losses. And at first I was still like, oh, building a deck, that's going to be so much. And when they explained the mechanics, it sounded rather complicated. But here's the thing. Your deck is 4 cards. It's a general deck. It's a general and 3 troops. And there's like ways that the general has to win or lose, but the troops like have their own individual fights, and they like have special junction abilities that junction to the general. But like, I figured, you know, it'd be like 30 cards, right? No. It's because of how few cards there are. I'm like, I should try this. Also, they do literally just give you 3 decks. They're like, here's 3 pre-made decks. So I just made the pre-made decks, sent them to the arena, and said, do some fights.
Nice.
Anyway, so it's a low enough bar that I'm at least going to dabble in it.
Maybe I'll open it.
Yeah. But let's listen to, since we were just talking about it, the Crimson Versus song, and then we'll talk about our memorable moments. All right, so I loved the dot hack sign pun. That, like, it's so dumb, but it made me really happy when they did that. But other than that, I had thoughts and feelings about the opener of the game. But did anybody else have like specific memorable moments before we talk about that opener?
Not really. My feelings were just that I thought very, very, very strong visuals throughout this episode. Really loved. I mean, we were talking about how we really liked the final cutscene of the previous game. This game really just keeps that going. Every cutscene, even the ones where it's just people talking, like, now that we've sort of gone through the looking glass, like we're spending a lot more percentage of the game in like weird spaces, and they're all really cool and interesting. The AIDA fights are, I mean, they're a little overdone. I mean, we talked last season about how much we liked the fact that like the AIDA fights were really fun, but of course they're also pretty simple, so it's good that they didn't do them too often. Well, that's funny.
3 of them in 45 minutes a game this week.
I think it was more than 3, but
there was at least 4 off the top of my head.
Yeah, there was 4 because we had one at the
beginning
when we fought the PKs, 2 in the cave, and then the final one. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And the final one was a little harder. That's the other thing. Until the final one, they were all exactly identical. But the final one, not only was it harder, it had more elaborate movesets, but also it did look cooler, and I really liked how it looked. So also it actually issued the first 3 were all literally the same thing. They were all called Anna. And actually, Sam, you were slightly wrong. Not that it matters, but you said to stop after the second Anna fight. That last fight actually isn't fighting Anna. It's fighting like the something gatekeeper or something like that. But I mean, it looks similar. But like the name of it wasn't Anna. But
yeah,
anyway,
I was just going by context clues from the guide, because the guide was like, oh, this is like a level up of the Anna fight, and I was like, oh, we probably fight one before it gets all corrupted or something. And we fight it again. It's fine.
It was still perfectly clear, but so they were all Anna, and then that one wasn't. So anyway, I am looking forward to, like, it kind of reminds me of like Metroid 2, how the whole game you're just killing lots of Metroids, and as you go through the game, they change and they get stronger and stronger and more interesting. So even though the fights get a little dull, they don't take that long, and they look cool, and I'm hoping that they get more interesting, and I'm interested to see what happens with them. So there's that.
If it keeps the random mob versions about as long as these are, that's fine, because this one only had, I think, one phase where it was invulnerable to your shots. So otherwise you could be right up on its grill, unloading clips in it, and get done with it in like a minute or 2 tops. It was the ones towards the end of last game where it's like, oh, they're invulnerable for 3 of their 4 attacks. So 75% of the time you're just kind of like significantly dodging
more health, right?
Yeah.
But zip zapping around, it feels good. Let's see if I have any more moments. They did make a couple of mechanical changes to this game that are all real nice. If you actually look at the email, the email, it's actually cool. It's the email from CC Corp being like, we've patched the world, which is a really cute way of the game of CC Corp 2 telling us that this game has slightly different mechanics. They just changed a little bit about stuff like how combos work and stuff, and it's all better. It's all good stuff. I was experimenting with it in combat, and this is better. I like this.
Yeah. The Demon Awakening is way more fun and way cooler. And instead of being you fill up your morale all the way and then you get 5 seconds to mash attacks that they can't block, you can do it at any time, and it just uses whatever morale you have to then spam attacks.
Oh, that's neat. I didn't use it because
that's a lot more strategic.
That's cool. All the battles this week were so easy that I just didn't even want to waste the time going into demon mode, so I didn't try it. But if you're saying, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's a lot more interesting of a strategic ask, is do you want to get a couple quick shots right here when you only have a little bit of morale, or do you want to build it up all the way and just unleash hell, etc., which is cool.
That's about all I have to say, other than just the final thing, which is just I really love when sequels are like, no, we are picking up the literal instant that the previous one ended. I always find that to be that's not normally what you expect from a sequel, right? And it's like, no, this is chapter 2. It's been technically, this game technically skips ahead like 5 or 10 minutes, but then it has flashbacks. So like, really not if you count if you look at it like linearly without the flashbacks being flashbacks, it's like, no, like, there's no gap at all. You see everything that happens from the second that Atali gets owned to all the stuff that happens after that, which is cool.
Yeah.
I really liked how fast-paced this was compared to the previous volume. I was sort of impressed at one point when you're going around talking to everyone. One of the places you go to talk to people is you go to Kennard's at home and you talk to Gaspard. And there's not a 5-minute long voiced cutscene. You just talk to Gaspard, and in the normal dialogue interface, he's like, "I'm scared."
Yeah,
and then you go.
It wasn't even we're shifting to a dialogue scene in game. It wasn't even that. It was just you talk to him like any other NPC. I found that jarring as well. I was like, wait, but it's Gaspard. Aren't we going to have like a touching reunion? Nope.
No. Well, I mean, we don't need a touching reunion because in game we saw him like
that's true
earlier today.
Good point. Yeah, good point. Although to be fair, I do think that Gaspard, from Gaspard's point of view, it's kind of like my dog. You know, like if I leave for 30 minutes and I come back, he's like, we need to spend some quality time together because I miss you.
Yes.
Comparing a beast person character to a dog is probably really offensive.
It probably is. Speaking of Kennard's at home, did you find the mechanical change that we have your equipment that was in there?
No, I haven't touched that shit.
Yeah, so if you go to what would be Yada's room, but in Kennard's at home, Death Grunty is in there as well, and you can talk to him, and all of the items that you have of the same type, so like the spin Koga, you know how you get like 50 of those, and then you change some of them to be better with your enhancements. You can alchemize those to smush them all into one to have like spin Koga +5 and stuff like that, which is a real cool way for me to.
Or am I forgetting?
Yeah, you could do that in Volume 1.
I must have just never gone in that fucking room.
Yeah, no, that's the whole thing. It's actually annoying how restrictive it is. It's like,
yeah, it's a really bad and arcane system.
Yeah, it's dumb that you can alchemize weapons together, but only if they're literally the same weapon. Because you want to do it like you want to do it like Rogue Galaxy style, where you just like pump all of your bad weapons into the monster's mouth and it poops out something better, right? But in this, it's like, no. You need to get like, so for me, every time you get another of the exact same sword, you're like, oh, sweet, actually, because that means I can use it to make my existing sword better. But not if there's like a big level gap between them. It's dumb. But anyway, welcome to the crafting system and enjoy.
Yeah, I literally never went in there. This was not tutorialized. It never even like implied that Yada's room was there in Kennard's at home. Like you spent no time there whatsoever, which is hilarious because there was like 2 entire quests to tutorialize how to ride the fucking motorcycle. So the one that's actually important for progression was just not a thing. So that's fine.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with it. Aside from being dumb and arcane, it was interesting enough for me to enjoy doing it, at least when I got stuck on some of the arena battles. So yeah, it's interesting mechanical shenanigans.
I messed with it a little and made better daggers, and then I was like, I would much rather just grind and be over leveled.
Yeah, it's really easy to grind in this game, so I'll probably just do that. I mean, that's what I did last time. I didn't even know that whole system existed. But Bernard, did you have anything else?
I mean, this is the kind of thing we talked about before, but I mean, there were multiple times where Haseo laughs at someone and his subtitles say LOL.
Yeah, I love that.
Yes. Anyway, so yeah, good. Mainly just that it was fast-paced and had more filmmaking.
Yeah. I started this game, was instantly reminded of the cool-ass cliffhanger that we had last time, and then I was really mad that it was a fake cliffhanger. It's like something still is up with AIDA, so it's not like a completely fake cliffhanger, but if I didn't take the 2 months or 3 months off or however much it was in between these two games, I would have been really upset that like I saw this big ass cliffhanger and I'm like, oh shit, I have to go and see what's going on. And then they're like, never mind. It was all a dream type feel. And I mean,
she still is going to die.
Yeah. I was really mad for about 5 seconds, but as soon as I found out that she was like mute and shit, I stopped being upset. I was like, oh no, this is cool actually. Oh wait, actually oh no, I guess I didn't see this. I think this was in an email maybe. I'll share it anyway. It's whatever.
Go for it.
Yeah, I think the second you get back to the home screen, you can check your email, and there's an email from AIDA. Turns out, yeah, the crisis really is resolved. People can like log out and walk around in the real world now. But anyway, AIDA sends you an email where she's like, I'm glad that this problem is over, but like, I went to the doctor and they analyzed me. Yeah, no, I don't. I was going to say she might still be mute. I don't think she's still mute. But the doctor analyzed her, and apparently, like, the tip of her finger where her data got fucked up is, like, numb. Like, in real life.
Damn.
Like, she just has no feeling in the tip of her finger. Which is neat. So, yeah, she's still very much in peril. But, yes, the immediate whiplash of, like, wait, did she just not die? That's stupid was jarring for sure.
Yeah. And
is her Morgana factor getting stolen not enough for you?
No, I wanted her to die because her dying in the first game was like the first cool thing that had happened in this game.
Yeah, that's true.
And it was the last frame of the game. And so
I expected the second volume to be all about saving her, but
yeah, apparently not. Or apparently so, and it'll happen next week, like Kid in Chrono Cross, where you're like, oh shit, she fucking died. Let's start the next chapter. And she's like, I'm great. Wait, no, I'm not. Yeah, and falls out. So
another that'll fun little flash was that I found it quite interesting that after the opening, the setup of the first game, and also like all the trailers and marketing for the game / series had like, it was this whole mystery of like, what the fuck is Triad? Triad is this big scary thing. First of all, the fact that you actually own Triad at the end of the previous game, and it's like, you actually do. It's like, you beat him. Good job. And also, they don't explain anything about him, was a little weird. And then, but also, I found it was cool. I was like, oh, it's like cool that we had this entire premise of beating Triad, and that was just the first game, and now we're moving past it to something else, right? Something bigger. Like, we're not just this guy wants revenge. At the end, though, they did bring Triad back, but it is different because Haseo,
and it's really excitingly different. Like, yeah, I really want to know who those people are.
Yeah, like the plot has clearly moved beyond Haseo's wanting revenge against Triad. So even though they brought him back, I don't find it annoying. I find it more intriguing, actually. Although the idea of just like Triad is gone and we're never talking about him again also kind of would have been cool, right?
Yeah. But so the two characters at the end look familiar to me, and I don't know if I've like seen the box art and it's a big group shot and I'm recognizing them from somewhere in there, or if they're a throwback to IMOC, just like Triad is. I don't know.
Or
I feel like I know them.
Did you watch one of the animes too?
I have not seen a single anime. I've read some of Twilight, whatever.
They could have showed up in that too, maybe.
Maybe so.
I don't recognize them at all.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah.
So they're definitely not from .hack Sign, which is the only thing I know about.
Yeah. We really should consume a little bit of this giant series instead of starting at the most recent release, but No.
You can't make me.
What was I? Oh, actually, speaking of that, there was. Wait, did the thing I was going to say just completely leave my brain? That's funny. Never mind.
Yeah. So, anyone got anything else to say about this portion?
I've played for just about exactly 2 hours, and already more interesting things have happened in Volume 2 than happened in Volume 1.
Yeah.
Agreed. I dig it. Actually, the thing I wanted to say was actually a question, and later I'm going to remember the question, and I'm going to be really annoyed that I can't bring this question up. Whatever, I'll say it. Whatever, who cares? It's fine. We're good. I'm dying of smoke fumes.
Let me see where we're stopping, lads.
It's funny that you dramatically and successfully quit smoking, and now you're dying of smoke fumes anyway.
It really is quite funny.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. That's how I know that my sort of sickness today is probably from the smoke, because it feels like I had too many cigarettes. So even if you're a smoker, like, most of the time smoking makes you feel pretty good, but like if you have one too many smokes, or if you smoke when you're maybe like didn't eat enough that day, or maybe if you go a few weeks without smoking, like, basically the point is sometimes you smoke a cig and you're like, it just feels like you just got inflicted with the poison status effect. Even if you are a regular smoker, it sometimes does that. So anyway, like, that's how it feels. Like, I feel a little bit like that today, which is why I'm pretty sure that my weird health problems today are because of the air quality, which sucks.
Yeah. It's just not a good time to be on a coast.
It's really not. Coasts in general, man, like, they're good sometimes, but other times it's like, well, then again, the middle part of the country ain't doing too hot either. Wasn't there some kind of weird, crazy storm anomaly a bit ago, Sam?
For where?
I heard the whole Midwest,
like,
including even like a little bit of Wisconsin, was getting fucked up by some weird storm system like a week ago.
Oh. It rained a lot, but I didn't leave my house, so I don't fucking know shit.
Maybe you got like the north tip of it, so it didn't it wasn't bad. But I think more south, it was like, I don't know. A lot of people were freaking out about it.
Here in Central Texas, we did get a good bit of rain recently, and we're all like, oh yes, the heat finally broke, which means it's like mid-90s.
Yeah.
But it's not like 105.
Yep. And hey, you got two hurricanes coming your way, so there's that.
Okay, so it looks like where we will stop will be after completing the tournament round 1. There will be a couple of scenes, and spoilers, there's a tournament. But after the tournament round 1, we'll see a couple of scenes. We will receive an astrid specimen, an armadillo shell, and an armadillo crest, and then be asked to log out.
I love armadillos.
So, armadillos are so cute.
Yeah, I was trying to think of like a way to do it besides just the end of the tournament, but I'm gonna remember when it pops up on my screen that I got some armadillo shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you get some armadillo
Real
shit,
Texas hours.
log out and save.
Actually, this isn't what I was going to say earlier, but I do have a prediction, which I thought of while this cutscene was happening. I bet that the motivation here, which is a bit stronger than last time at least, is that those two mysterious figures that showed up are going to be in the tournament. And Haseo is going to want to find out what's going on with them, which, you know what? I'll buy it. Honestly, that would be a great premise for a second game if the first game didn't also have a tournament in it.
Yeah.
Do y'all want to know a fun armadillo fact?
Yes, please.
Hell yeah.
So the 9-banded armadillo, almost always, they give birth to identical quadruplets. Their litters are always 4 identical quadruplets.
I knew that because you shared it with me before, but it's a fascinating fact.
That is really cool.
I'm pretty sure researchers use armadillos to study twinning.
That makes sense.
Because human twins are rare enough that it can be hard to study it.
Yeah, I try to study something that just happens fucking not that often randomly, and who fucking knows?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And it's not just like a litter of 4 puppies. It's literally twinning times 4 every time.
They're identical quadruplets.
That's real cool.
That's really fucking wild. Man.
It's weird.
Man, animals are cool. Isn't it weird how there's so many crazy weird animals out there?
I love animals. They're cool. I don't want to touch them most of the time, but I like to admire them from afar.
If you ever see a dillo and he's rooting through your rutabagas, one might say, don't shoot him because the bullet can ricochet off of its armor and murder you. Don't shoot him because they're a buddy. Well, I mean, when you got varmints always coming into your yard and messing up your garden, it's okay to shoot them. That's not a morally wrong thing to do. Anyway.
Wow.
Or shoot.
Varmints are a gray
we went
area.
from a pro-animal to an anti-animal podcast real quick over here.
It's the circle of life. It's like, that's my garden. If you don't want to get shot, don't go in my garden. And it's like, it's not like you're shooting a rare creature. It's armadillos. There's millions of them. But actually don't shoot them because, especially with the BB, because it will ricochet in a chaotic way and could definitely shoot your eye out. So don't do that.
Yeah.
Speaking of animals, the zoo in Madison is free, and they're fumigating our apartment tomorrow, so we're going to go to the free-ass zoo and mask up and not talk to any people and look at animals. So
that's very good. That's very, very good.
That'll be the first, public thing we've done since March, and I'm a little skeeved out about it, but also the fucking animals. So
first of all, animals.
Hell yeah.
Second of all, I bet there aren't going to be as many people there. Third of all, remember, the studies came out showing that transmission rates when you're outdoors are really, really low. So, I think you're totally fine. Obviously, I get it.
Don't go to the zoo every day.
Obviously, I get it. You're a parent, but you're gonna be fine. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, we're probably good.
Yeah,
and
it's
I
a
guarantee
good outdoor
you,
activity.
The transmission rate of us going to the zoo will be a lot less than the dying rate of being firebombed by roach gas. So
yeah, probably better to go to the zoo.
Yeah, go get a 0.2% chance to catch COVID instead of a 100% chance to die from poison. So
there you go.
Yeah,
I like those odds.
Yeah, never tell me the odds. We've vamped enough this episode. It was a short one. I knew it was going to be a short one, but it was such a good chapter that
it made total sense to stop here. And also, frankly, whatever. So we had a light week, big whoop.
Yeah, we got to go on tangents. If we had a lot to cover, I would have been let's stop talking about Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. But if you like what you heard and you want us to review Cellular 2004 some more, I made this joke yesterday. It's not funny, but it's kind of funny.
It's still funny.
You can head on over to our website at www.rpgbook.club. It has links to all of our socials, and most important of those is the Discord. That's where we hang out all the time. It's basically my only social media at this point, so you should come and be my friend. And it also has a link to our Ko-Fi at ko-fi.com/rpgbookclub. And that's where you can support us monetarily and offset our podcast hosting costs, our Zencaster costs that'll be starting up again soon, and other stuff like that. So you can check us out over there. This series you're listening to right now is actually a reward for our Ko-Fi backers for hitting milestones, is when we do the next series in our short/longcast series. We are fiendishly close to finishing Dot Hack Volume 3, which we will include Volume 4 as a bonus when that happens. And then after that, our next shortcast is going to be for The Last of Us, Volume 1. Yeah,
everything we have planned for short or long cast is either some kind of goddamn amazing masterpiece that doesn't fall under our normal RPG Book Club criteria, or it's something that is very, very interesting, if not good. I think that you should, if you knew what was on the list for shorts and LongCast, you'd be excited about all of them. So,
yeah, you should definitely hang out with us there and send us money and all of that. Were you about to say something or tell us to shut up and get off your mic?
I got it. Before we leave, I got to share another fun armadillo fact.
Okay, yes,
go ahead.
Please.
Because before I said that they give birth to quadruplets, I Googled it really quick to make sure I didn't make that up, and it's true. But then I saw, it said people also ask, how high can an armadillo jump? And I was like, why do people ask that? I don't imagine an armadillo can jump very high. Apparently, the 9-banded armadillo, are you picturing one in your head?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Little buddy?
Little buddy.
3 to 4 feet.
Jesus Christ.
Dude's got
straight up into the air.
Well, now I want to make, first of all, has anyone ever made a basketball video game where they're all animals? My first thought was it's all armadillos, and they get armadillo abilities. You can curl up, you can ricochet, you can have quadruplets on the field. You can jump really high. You can have hops, right, and be good at basketball. But now I'm like, wait a second, animal basketball is a great concept in general, but only the really weird ones, right? Because all the characters have crazy powers.
Mm-hmm.
That actually would be great. Nobody steal this. We should make this game.
Like rabies could be a status effect, but the opossum character is immune.
I haven't played a sports video game in a very long time, and it honestly bums me out because I actually really like sports, and I really like sports video games, though I do tend to prefer back in the day when they didn't try to make them feel realistic. Nothing against, honestly, the Maddens and the NBA 2K whatevers of the world. Those games are often actually a lot more well made than your typical nerd gives them credit for. But back in the day when you had weird powers and shit, that was the good shit. So anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss that, it wasn't end all be all if you had the license or not. So you would just have this is going to be robot basketball. Fuck it. We're all robots and we can just do whatever the fuck we want. And someone should make animal basketball. I would probably play that at a party with friends.
Yes.
Anywho, if you like us, check us out, send us ducats. We'll be back next week to start fighting in the arena again. And we will comment on how much this game slowed down.
Thing, but one more question. I think that the fans would like to hear this too, because I also want to know this. How many episodes are we having planned total for this? 4?
I believe so. I am checking it out. So the random guide I'm following has it chunked off into 4, so we'll probably do 4. Cool. Their third and fourth one have 6 bullets, where their first 2 have 3 and 4. So maybe we'll do 5, maybe we'll do 6. We'll see how it feels in 2 weeks. Okay. So on our third episode, see if that one's too long. If it's not too long, then we'll do 4. If it's too long, we'll do 5 or 6.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. That's important information for me to know. So
cool. So join us next week. We will interrupt each other a lot then as well. And for RPG Book Club Longcast, I have been Sam Allman.
I'm supposed to go second. I'm Maddie Grace Weapon.
Oh, sorry, I messed it up when I went second earlier. I'm David Bernard Hauk.
And we will see you in the world, guys.
I'm Gabi.